welcome back to my channel. I'm Camilla and this is Hasty Books. Today I'm really pleased and excited to share with you my summer TBR. This was inspired by Nyx Reads. I saw that like a couple months ago that she'd done a seasonal TBR instead of like a monthly one. And I thought that's really cool because I'll see like that just allow me to pick general books that I want to read over the next few months. So I won't have to, make a list and like feel bad because I didn't actually read them, which I do every month. And also I thought it'd be really cool because it'll allow me to hopefully film different content across the next few months rather than, the usual TBR coming once a month. I'm very excited to share with you 15 books. So I picked 15, I restricted myself. So what about these 15 books? Well, I've actually separated into 3 categories. So I've picked 5 books that I would like to finally finish. So 5 books that I've started that I'm excited to finally, get under my belt over the next few months. I've picked 5 classics from my classics TBR for 2022. And finally, 5 books from my physical bookshelves, because that's one of my goals this year, is to actually read more books that I actually own. So I think that was important to do that. I'm quite sure I'll be able to manage 15 books over the summer. I read between 10 and 15 books a month usually, at the moment anyway, and I'm sure that'll continue over the summer. And over the summer, I usually read more. I think last July with some holidays, I ended up reading 18 books. And obviously that includes some short books, but even some longer books. I read a lot when I'm on holiday, and we have some fun holidays coming up. Hopefully we'll be holidaying in the UK in June, and then hopefully, if my immigration papers can finally arrive, I'll be able to finally visit home in July, maybe August. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all of that, exciting summer plans, but also exciting summer reading. So let's get started. So the 5 books that I want to finish, what are they? The first one is The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. This is to finish before, I think it's the 14th or 15th, that the Women's Prize for Fiction winner will be announced. So this is one of the shortlisted books, so I want to finish it ahead of time. The second one is Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. I've actually just picked it up from the library. So by finish, I really mean read, but I sneaked it into this category anyway. But yeah, I would like to finish it in June to make a predictions video, hopefully, for the Women's Prize for Fiction winner. Oh, I'm so excited for that. And the last one is actually still a Women's Prize for Fiction book. It's The Bread the Devil Needs by Allen-Agostini. I still haven't finished it. I focused so much on Great Circle, which I actually returned to the library. So I finished that, which is like a big chunker, and now I'll be able to get back to The Bread the Devil Needs. And yeah, I'm very excited for those 3. Another book that I really want to finish, and I feel like I've talked about it so many times, it is The Little Friend by Donna, and it is in no way little. I really like this book, but it's been really slow, and I've gone weeks without touching it, and I'd read like some pages, and then I don't know, I'm never really in the mood for it, and I feel really sad about it, and then I feel guilty for not reading it, and here we are anyway. I'm hoping that over the holidays, if I just bring this one with me, I can just, read it along the way. I really enjoyed Donna Tartt's writing, so I'm hoping this one will pick up and I will eventually just get into it. And the 5th book is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I have started it, like the audiobook. I haven't finished it. I really want to get back to it in June. Hopefully I'll be able to manage it quite shortly. But yeah, it's on my list. I'm not gonna lie, I saw the trailer for the movie and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I think it's a movie I'd like to watch. So I thought I'd give a chance to the book first. And yeah, hopefully I like it. I don't know much about it, but yeah. Next, for the 5 classics that I've picked for my classics TBR, I'm very excited for these. The first one is a huge chunker as well. It is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. I'm going to be reading this one in French and as a buddy read with Rosie Cockshot. Very excited for that. We said potentially we start in July. Basically, actually it's a friend of my mum who found the 2 tomes, like the 2 volumes in a charity shop, so she bought them for me, and I will only get access to them once I'm able to visit home. So whenever that is, I'm going to start buddying reading it with Rosie. Very excited. She'll be reading it in French as well. I think that'll be really fun. And we said like we'd check in, at the various stages because it's quite an adventure. I think it's a large one. and we think it's probably gonna take a few months. So don't know if I'll be finishing over the summer, but definitely planning on starting it. Then I'll be continuing my journey into the Bronte sisters books with the Tenants of Wildfell Hall by Bronte. I'm very excited for this one. That's one that I heard so many people talk about, I think the last October, and I was like, ooh, I really can't wait to read that one. So yeah, I'm very excited for it. I'll be reading it hopefully in the next month or two. Another continuation of, reading a whole entire bibliography is Virginia Woolf. I would really like to read Mrs. Dalloway. So this is one of the books I actually own by Virginia Woolf. Very excited for that. A friend gave this to me as a birthday present many years ago and I've never tackled it. I have mentioned, really interestingly enough, in her first novel, the character of Mrs. Dalloway appears. I think it's in The Voyage Out. Yeah, it's her first novel and the character appears. So it's really cool to kind of know that background before I actually dive into Mrs. Dalloway. Yeah, and hopefully it'll be... Oh, it's quite a long introduction actually. Oh, I think it's quite a short book. But I mean, it's Virginia Woolf, so it might be a bit dense. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, this isn't technically on my list, but I'm hoping to get to The Lighthouse as well, another one that I own by Virginia Woolf. I had started this one many years ago, and I really like the kind of energy and vibe of it, but I just never continue it. I feel like it has something to do with the kind of the copy that I own. Sometimes when I don't like the way the book feels in my hand, I really don't want to continue picking it up. Don't know if anyone is similar to me like this, but anyway, it's maybe just a weird quirk of mine. But yeah, it would be nice to get both, but let's just hope for Mrs. Dalloway, because the Virginia Woolf books are taking me much longer than expected to get through. And well, no, I should have expected it, really. There's bagpipes. I don't know if you can hear that. Anyway, it's, we're in Scotland. The fourth classic that I would like to read is The Stranger by Albert Camus. This is would be a reread for me. I've read it at least twice because I'm sure I wrote projects on it when I was younger in school. Yeah, I'm quite excited to reread it, especially like in the mindset and like that I am now. Like I feel like very different from 15 years ago, whenever it is that I read this book the first time, and that I loved it and I thought it was like the best thing ever. I'm sure it's very good and I quite like existentialism, but yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of revisiting it. But I mean, this isn't technically on my list. I kind of sneaked it in here. It could have been on my I must finish list in the first 5, or it could have been in the next 5 in the books that I physically own, but I'm just sneaking in it here. This is the one I want to pair with The Stranger. It's the Mersault Investigation by Kamel Daoud. This is kind of the modern day response to The Stranger, and especially it's from basically the perspective of the brother of the man killed by the protagonist in The Stranger. So yeah, I started it. I find it very difficult to read this book because I could tell it's been written in French, and because I speak French, I'm just like not loving reading it in English. So yeah, it's just, again, it's like a vibe thing with me, but I really want to read it. It's quite a short read, so hopefully I can pair both, and I'll probably come back and make a video because I think it's a really great thing to kind of read the classic and then kind of a modern day response, especially when they're a bit like post-colonial and stuff like that. I think that's great. So yes. And finally, the last classic that I would like to read over the summer is I Am a Cat by Natsume Sōseki. This is a Japanese classic from the early 20th century. I have started it actually, and it's kind of, yeah, it just has that vibe, I think it's in the perspective of a cat, and yeah, I kind of enjoyed the beginning. It's really, really long, so don't really know where it's going, but I wanted to add classics that weren't just like by white Western people to my list. So yeah, I'm quite glad to get like a glimpse into that, especially because I quite like contemporary Japanese writing. So yeah, it's really cool to see something that's maybe a bit more classic. And finally, we're at the last 5 books, which are 5 books that I own that I would like to tackle. As I said, I usually read more physical books over the summer and during the holidays, so I'm hoping I'll be able to handle these 5. They're all giving me summer vibe as well, so I think that's like what's really cool. They look like kind of lighter reads, so yeah, I'm really excited about all these. I think quite a few I acquired last summer, so I feel like also like this summer I really need to read them, So the first one is Sex and Vanity by Kwan. I heard this is less good than his Crazy Rich Asian trilogy, which I absolutely loved, but I still want to read it. I really like his style, and I just love the kind of luxury effervescence kind of energy of his books. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think someone recommended it to me. I don't remember who it was, like last winter or whatever, that I should read this over the summer. So I've kept it on that person's recommendation for the summer. Next, this is a book that probably not a lot of people will have heard about, but this is Let Me Know When You're Home, Stories of Female Friendship. This is a collection of kind of, I think usually it's essays, short stories, poems, and it's published by Dear Damsel. It's kind of like a small women-centered publishing movement site publisher in London. So I read, this is from I think 2020. Last year in 2021 it was, I think it was What She's Having on Female and Food, and I've ordered their book from this year for 2022. It's about women in writing, so I've ordered that one as well. But at the same time, I thought I'd just order the one from 2020 because I don't know, I just really loved the one that I read last year, and I thought I'd just support them as a publisher and also those authors, and it's great to get a glimpse into so many different people's writing. So I'm really excited for this. It's about friendship, safety, and everything. What is it that makes female friendship so special, supportive, intense, messy, and essential? From growing up together to growing apart, from the oldest of friends to the most fleeting, our relationship with other women can be our greatest loves. They can also be difficult, elusive, and the source of our deepest heartbreaks. 15 women writers look at female friendship in all forms. Yeah, I really love these books, and it's quite short as well. I think it's like 100 pages. If you're in the UK, I definitely kind of recommend looking up Dear Damsels. I'll put the link in the description below. Unfortunately, What She's Having on like Female on Food or something like that sold out, but you can still order this one, and you can pre-order this year's collection, which is about female and writing. So yeah. Next, another one that gave me a summer vibe, it's the Lido by Libby Page. I've bought that one many years ago in a charity shop, and it's always there just lurking at me because it has like a bright spine, so I'm always like, oh yeah, the Lido, yes, I owned it, I have to get back to it at some point. I feel like I've read such dark books over the beginning of this year that I'm really craving some lighter romance or like female friendship, stuff like that. This seems to be a little bit about that. It seems to be a younger woman and an older woman meeting at a Lido, and they want to save it. I think it wants, yes, the Lido is threatened with closure. And for people who don't know what Lido is, like a public pool, whatever, outdoor public pool. So yeah, I'd like to read this one this year. I feel like it's going to be a nice summer read. Next is another one that I've mentioned before, and I definitely want to read it over the summer. It is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. Last video that I mentioned it, loads of people said it was actually really good, and or you know, they can't wait to get to it as well. I've owned this book for almost a year. It came as part of a book club, which I was really excited about actually when I opened it, and I was like, oh my god, amazing, because it's a book club that you just pick from like a short summary, you pick between two, and then they just send you the book and you're like, oh, okay. So it's always a surprise, which is really nice. But I really want to get to this. It's quite short, so I think it'd be nice to read over the summer. I'm quite like short books over the summer, especially. I feel like I can probably you know, sit down one day maybe on the terrace and just read a whole book, so that's nice. Finally, the 5th book on this list of physical books, but also 15th book in the summer TBR. It is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. I bought this book last year, and or I got it as a gift for my birthday or something like that. I was quite excited for it. You know, writing, food, exes, romance, just I kind of very intrigued by all of that. It's a little bit of a cozy mystery, I think, as well. I've since heard some bad reviews, so I don't know how I feel about it, but I own it. I still want to give it a try. You know, you never know what you might like when someone else doesn't like it, you know. We're all so different. So yeah, I want to give this a chance this year. It felt like it'd be a good summer read as well. It feels like it'll be quite a light one, so quite excited for it. So this was it for my summer TBR, the 15 books I would like to tackle over the next few months. I'm very excited. It obviously doesn't include the many other books I'll probably start or, you know, dive in and out of, including obviously loads of French books, loads of arcs that I really need to get to, loads that are like dating from early this year and really need to get, you know, keep up to date. And other audiobooks that I maybe just have like a fancy that I want to read on that day. You know, I'm very much a mood reader. So like the books that I've mentioned in this TBR are very much like, I think across quite a wide variety of genres, because this is good, I realized, to give myself space. Like if I feel like reading something light, then I have a little rom-com. And if I feel like reading something a bit more chunky, you know, I have a little friend, you know, I have it all. So that's very exciting. Anyway, tell me what your plans are for the summer. I would love to know what's the book that you're most looking forward to. What are your summer plans? Don't hesitate to leave a comment, a little like, and see you back. Bye!